Hey guys, and welcome to Amusement Park update number 6. First, I want to apologize for my year-long hiatus. I haven't posted in a very long time, but I have got a lot of progress on this park in that time, so hopefully that makes up for it. First off, you can see the first new addition to this park, this new entrance. Now, it's not the most special thing in the world, it's not a Disneyland or Disney World entrance, but I do quite like it, and I think it fits the overall vibe of this park pretty well, and I like the bricks, I like the welcome sign, I like the way I made this little cubby where you can come and buy tickets, it has all the prices. I think it's very detailed, and overall, I do like this entrance to the park. Now, the second new addition that I added was this main street that I have directly after the entrance. It's pretty much just a row of buildings that will someday be various shops and restaurants. I haven't furnished the inside of them. That will be a project for the next episode. But I have the overall idea down. A main street when you walk in with buildings and shops that leads you right to the star attractions, the Ferris wheel, and the Bullet roller coaster. Now, speaking of the Bullet roller coaster, that leads me to the third update of this park, and that is that I completely expanded the Bullet coaster. I will put a picture on the screen of what this coaster originally looked like, but I have immensely lengthened this ride because originally I was just like, I just feel like it's too short. Now, this roller coaster is supposed to be a classic ride, one of the first roller coasters ever in the park, and I wanted to keep that feeling while expanding the length to make it feel a little more realistic, and I think I actually did that pretty successfully. Pretty much all I did was add this turnaround, that hill, and then that double bottom right there into the other turnaround, and I think the Bullet is much improved after adding this addition. The third addition to this park was just a little warehouse that I've added here, kind of like how I've added restrooms and stuff to this park. I just feel like this was a logistical and necessary addition just for realism. Of course, it's not the most flashy thing in the world, but I do like how it turned out, and I like to feel like the park feels somewhat realistic. And there's a gravel road, there's a little kind of loading dock here, a gravel road that connects there to which will eventually be the parking lot, and then connects all the way down, goes through the Bullet, and connects out here by the Ferris wheel. The main reason I wanted to do this road is because I wanted there to be a way for emergency vehicles to be able to access the park. If someone got hurt, on the Midnight Ride or roller coaster over there, we would need a way for an ambulance to get in here and help them. And I didn't have that as of now, but now I do, and I was very, very excited about that. The fourth addition to this park is this carousel, and I really felt like the entrance to every park has a carousel. That's pretty set in stone, it's pretty common, and so I just felt like a carousel was a very necessary addition to this park, and I really like how it turned out. I love the colors, I love the style, I think it was perfect. So that basically sums up this section of the park, and don't worry, there are many more updates to speak of, but just this section alone, I think, is the section that saw the most change from last update to this update. I will put a before and after picture on the screen so that you see what this section originally looked like, and I'm telling you, you'll be pretty shocked. I think the addition of the entrance, the main street, the warehouse, the carousel, the Bullet expansion, all of those were very, very good updates, which really rounds out this area quite well. So now, moving in this direction, let's look at the other few things I did. First off, I just did a couple of recolors and rethemes. You may notice this circus was originally red and white. I changed it to add some blue. That's because this circus was inspired off of a photo I saw on Google somewhere a long time ago. I don't exactly remember, but I just thought I duplicated it a little too closely, and so I figured I would at least change the color scheme just to make it a little bit more of my own. And the same thing with the bumper cars. I added the brown there, but I did like to add the blue here just to tie it in better with the bumper cars. So those were just two rethemes, recolors, and I think it does look pretty good. But you maybe noticed, wait a minute, it looks like there was not only additions in this update, but also a subtraction. You're right, in this plot of land there was originally a restaurant. I will put the picture of that old restaurant up on the screen. Now you may be wondering, why did you get rid of this? Well, it's because this was a restaurant that was not my own design. I found it online because I thought it was cool, but I eventually realized coming into this next update, I kind of want this park to be my own. I don't want to have other people's designs in it, so I'm going to tear down this restaurant, which I did, which actually took longer than you would think, and I'm going to eventually put something else here in this empty plot of land. I love empty plots of land. It's room for creativity, and I already have an idea of what I'm going to do with this newfound space. Now, after these additions and subtractions, that leads me to the final addition of this update, the biggest and the best, and that is the new roller coaster Lumberjack, a dive coaster, B&M dive coaster. And oh my goodness, I think this might be one of the most beautiful and realistic coasters that I have made in this park thus far. I think all of the elements are just wonderful. If you don't know what a B&M dive coaster is, you basically go up the hill and then it holds you on the cart right about there, and you just hang off looking at the ground as you fall, then free fall at a vertical drop. And that's why they're called the dive coasters. I'll leave a picture up on the screen so you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. But I just love how the elements came together. It goes down that hill straight into a large dive loop, and then this kind of turnaround element, a big loop, airtime hill, and then it ends off over here with a corkscrew, which goes upside down right over the entrance and the station, which I think is just beautiful. You know, I added this extra path that leads up to the roller coaster. I really do think it's just beautiful. You see the banner letters, Lumberjack. Here's the entrance. Lumberjack must be 48 inches tall to ride. Here's the little queue. You know, you walk through the queue. I love all the lanterns. I love the overall theme. You go up. Here's the station. I have cubbies here where you can put loose articles. There's the, stop and go sign. Here's the operator station. And then you go through the exit, and when you go out the exit, you go down, and this is where you can get your on-ride pictures built right into the station. You look at this. The small picture is going to cost you $16. A large is going to cost you $20. And then you exit over here, and that is the exit of the ride. So unfortunately, the only bad thing about this coaster is it's not rideable. This is the first roller coaster in this park that isn't actually rideable in Minecraft with a minecart, and that's just because the way the track was constructed with this massive dive loop, it's just impossible for me to get a track to go over this element. It really just is, and so I wasn't able to make this one rideable. I really wish I could, but I think it's beautiful enough that you guys hopefully are okay with that just for this ride. And I think this was a much needed addition here, because if you've noticed, almost all my roller coasters, the big ones, are kind of on the edges of the park, and so there's a lot of open space when you look at the middle of it skyline wise, and I think having this big coaster just at the back of the park right in the middle was much needed. So those are all of the new additions to this park. Again, I think this was a pretty eventful and a pretty good update. So now let's look at the future plans, what I'm going to do. So I honestly think I might only need one more update for this park, maybe two, but let's start and go through the future plans. I want to add a new ride here, maybe bumper boats or something, the station here, and then the bumper boats in the water, obviously. Here I want to add either a restaurant, a shop, or a bathroom, so that would fill in this area very nicely, and all of a sudden this area is looking complete. Go back this way. I have this empty plot of land that I need to do something with. Now what I'm planning is I'm going to build a skyline that's going to have the station here, which is going to lead to an empty plot of land down there. So it's going to be like the ski lifts you see at ski resorts, and that's going to be the mode of transportation. So there's going to be one of the stops, and then it's going to go across here, across the lake, and then the front entrance to the skyline will be right here in this open plot of land, which obviously needs something desperately. So I think that'll be wonderful for the skyline, just to see that going right across there, to have that ski lift. I think it's going to be beautiful. For this plot of land, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to figure that out for the next update, but we will see. And then over here, I'm going to have a massive parking lot, which in itself will take a while, but should make this park feel a lot more complete. And then the final future plan is over here. I'm going to build a massive hotel resort. That's going to take a while. So that honestly could end up being an update in it of itself. I could see myself doing all of the updates I just talked about over here as an update video, and then the hotel resort as a separate update video, and that could be the last one. So that's going to round out the future plans for this park. Comment down below if you have any more ideas or any more future plans that you would like me to take on. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you guys now a walkthrough of this park at ground level, so you can have a better overall feel for the park, because unfortunately the park cannot be visible in a single frame. It's just too big. So to make you feel more immersed and feel like you have a better idea of just what's going on, I'm gonna give you a ground tour. But that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna let you enjoy your ground tour. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy.